Hey Brian, how does it feel to finally play a home game at Van Andel Arena?
It feels really good. We miss playing here. It's obviously a great city to play in and a great rink to play in. And, unfortunately, we don't have our fans right now, but it was nice to come back home and play a game after playing the first four on the road. I thought we did a good job, um, you know, doing the best we could on the road as with the circumstances, traveling day of the game. But it was nice to be able to play at home. And it was definitely strange. It's been a while, but it was fun.
Personally, do you feel like there was rust to begin the season, and do you feel like that's gotten better over the course of the last 5 games?
Maybe a little bit. I think we've done a good job of just continuously getting better game by game. I think the first game we started, it was kind of the first game in a year. It was kind of a little rusty, but after that, I thought the second, third game we started to get continuously better, and it was a good win tonight. We had some things that we got to work on for sure, but the progression of the team has been good, and we're excited.
With no fans in stands, do you feel like the on-ice communication is a lot easier, or does that not have a significant impact?
Yeah, definitely. You can hear who's the guys that talk a lot, and we've tried to make sure everyone knows that it's going to be easier for guys to hear you. There's not the crowd noise and stuff. So I think it's good actually for younger guys to kind of use their voice out there, and older guys too to help each other break the puck out of our end. But I think it's definitely critical that we use our voices to our advantage because there's no crowd, and it's going to make things a lot easier on all of us.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next up is Elaine Shercliffe from Full Press Hockey.
Hi. If I did my math correctly, I think the Griffins had scored 6 of their 11 goals this season in the third period. And your energy also has just gotten more aggressive and off the charts in the third. Why do you think that is?
I think we have a good group in there that knows when certain points of the game. I think we gotta press a little bit and make sure we can if we have the opportunity to take control of the game. And I thought after the first period or after the second period, it was kind of not much, it was kind of a sloppy game. There wasn't much going on, but we knew we could take over control of the game, and we've had good third periods and good starts so far this year. So we've just done a good job of being composed, knowing that we're in these games, and not getting too high or too low. I think that's the biggest thing. We're not taking ourselves out of the game. We're putting ourselves in positions to win.
Yeah, and how are you guys using the aggressive nature of all of these games this season? There's not a lot of love between the teams in the Central. How are you guys using that to your advantage this season?
I think we're playing the same teams a lot. I think for us, I think it's good to our coaching staff does a great job making sure we're prepared. We know who we're playing against. You kind of get to learn the tendencies of other players on the teams when you play them so much. I think that's kind of how I've gotten to learn a lot in the American League. You see the same teams, especially in our division, so many times that you can kind of get to learn tendencies, learn systems, and kind of build your game plan off that as you go throughout the season. So there's definitely going to be games where the emotions get a little high because you're playing so many teams or a few teams so many times. So that's going to happen, but it's no different than any other year.
Thank you.
Patrick Williams from Elite Prospects.
Hi, Brian. Congratulations on the win. What are you seeing as a defenseman playing in front of Pat Nagle, a goalie who's been around for a while, but hasn't really up until last year gotten a real shot at this level?
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, Nags has been, just kind of a warrior for us for a number of years. He comes up and plays well. He just has a sense of calmness to him on and off the ice. I think he deserves, the wins he's getting. I mean, he keeps us in games. He's won us games in the past, but right now he just seems to be in kind of a zone where he's seeing the puck and he always makes the first save. He plays the puck great. I mean, he's he's put us in a position to win every single night. And you know, I can't say enough about him as a person. He's great to have in the locker room. He's great to have with young goalies when they come up, and you know, we're excited to have him.
Hi, Pat. Congratulations on the win. How's it feeling out there? You're finally getting a real chance, I think, the last year or two in Grand Rapids. What do you think has started to really go your way?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was a big one for us. We're just trying to build off kind of where we left off last year. We really started getting rolling there that second half before things were delayed. A lot of guys back, and so now we're just trying to push that in practice and get ready here. We finally got a couple games in our belts, and I think we've gotten stronger each game.
And for goalie, we've heard so much about the adjustment for players coming back after such a long layoff. What's the adjustment for a goalie who hasn't seen live action?
Yeah, it's tough, especially that first game or two. You really get into it. Just the pace of play, the rushes, and then especially the traffic in zone power plays. You see a lot of bodies in traffic in front of you, guys ripping them through. Tonight we did a great job of fronting pucks, helping me out, trying not to. Once you give up a rebound, if they can clear it, that's huge. And I think we just build off of that, really. The more games we played, obviously it's going to get a little easier, but not much translates to a game like it does. So that's been great.
And last thing, is there any way in practice or even in the off season to try to replicate game action at all, or is it just something you have to wait for?
Yeah, it's tough. You get some drills here and there in practice, maybe some low plays, some small area games, just to battle and compete, play some games with the guys after practice, etc. But it's tough to get that level of play and ramp it up that much to see that often to get in the swing of things during the season.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Next question, Tom Mitzos from Wings Nation.
Hey, Pat. As a goalie, I mean, obviously, you know, everyone would prefer fans in the stands, but is the on-ice communication make it that much easier for you as a goalie?
Yeah, we've been doing a good job. It's a little easier, like you said, to hear my D-man, hear the forwards calling for pucks, talking. Knock on wood, we've had some smooth transitions so far, but like you said, it's a little easier when we're all on the same page and there's not another 10,000 people out there talking at the same time.
And then obviously, you know, it's probably going to be another year before we're back to completely normal, but does this game here at home kind of start to feel more normal, feel like a regular season? Yeah,
it was great. It's always fun to play in this rink. It's a great rink. A little different Saturday night than we're used to probably. But no, it was fun to be back. Huge to get that first win here. We had a tough schedule there to start on the road, getting used to busting in day of and getting our legs going. But yeah, we're happy to be back at home.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Patrick Williams with one more for you.
Just one more. Is it different as a goalie with no fans in the seats as far as picking up pucks? Especially in Grand Rapids where the seats are a little darker and you don't have that natural fan background that you're used to.
Yeah, it can be tough at times. Luckily, we had a week here to practice and kind of get used to things again, getting out of the practice ring, things like that. So that's huge. But like you said, there's definitely times when there's some dump ins or they rip it down when they're on the PK or something and it's high and hard and you just kind of stay in your net, wait till it lands.
Hey, Michael, how do you feel the power play went tonight?
Power play was good. Obviously got the early one in the third there, and then sealed it in OT. So that's what we need out of the special teams, and PK did a great job too. So it was good.
How do you feel like you've been since you've been back with Grand Rapids? Are you happy with your progress thus far?
Yeah, for sure. Last few games have been good. Won 3 in a row here, so happy about that, and just got to keep it going.
What did, if anything, Yzerman and Blashill tell you about what you need to improve on while you're down here to get back with the Red Wings?
Just playing a lot, playing in all situations. Doing my job well defensively, moving my feet, playing with pace. Be good on the power play. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you.
Next up, Elaine Shercliffe from Full Press Hockey.
Hi. This season, I noticed that you have been sitting on the doorstep a lot, screening goaltenders and trying to gobble up those rebounds. Could you speak to why you feel like that's important to the game?
Yeah, I think the front of the net is where a lot of the goals are scored. So just try to put myself there as much as possible, and guys do a good job of finding me there or getting the puck to the net. So it's been good.
Yeah, and you guys have been offensively aggressive in the third period of pretty much all of your games this season. Why do you think it is that you guys just really turn up the heat in that last period of play?
I think we just want to win real bad. I think coaches come in and tell us to play our game and play aggressive. So I think it's just us playing our game and us wanting to win. And we got a lot of good shifts out of everyone today. So it was good.
Hey, coach, how does it feel to finally coach a game at Van Andel Arena after almost a year off?
Well, it's great. The preparation is just a little bit different at home, and I thought the players are a little bit sluggish at first. And it's difficult to play in a bigger building with no fans, as opposed to, we played in Rockford, which isn't as big, Chicago, which isn't as big with no fans. So it's a little bit different than Cleveland. We did have some semblance of fans, and that's just a bigger arena as well. So to play in a bigger arena with limited fans that we had, it was a lot more quiet than I'd expected. And I thought our guys, as the game went on, found a way to establish a little bit more energy. But I thought for periods of the game, it had its little bit of lulls that were a little bit more noticeable because of the lack of fans.
With the quiet environment, is it easier for you to communicate with your coaches and your players, or does that not really matter?
No, for sure it's easier, but sometimes some conversations you don't want to overheard are heard as well. So it's definitely easier to communicate with the players. But from coaches and players point of view, as the game's going on, you truly, you don't really notice it all that much. But today was a little bit, for whatever reason, maybe it's just because we're at home. It was our first game at home where, in games prior, we've got such great fan support and the crowds are pretty much always awesome here. Maybe that's why it's a little bit more noticeable than the other games we played in.
2 power play goals tonight. What did you see from that unit?
I thought they did a great job of moving the puck, supporting the puck. I thought early in the game we forced some plays, but I thought we did a really good job of Ras staying in there, providing good net presence. I thought Taro controlled the play on the half. I thought Barbs had a pretty good shot selection for the majority of the night. And honestly, Chris going the bumper, I think, doesn't get enough credit and enough praise for the little things that he does to create and help seams open up and support the puck and retrieving pucks on shots. So I thought all in all, our power play they bailed us out of the game. So we've got to find a way to generate 5-on-5 scoring, even strength scoring. And we can't always rely on our power play to win us games like that.
What have you seen from Rasmussen so far, and what do you think it's going to take for him to get back to the Red Wings?
Michael, I thought Mike was tenacious tonight. I thought he was showing a willingness to get his nose dirty and get involved in corners. For Mike, it's just a consistency of owning the walls, owning the corners, being a man amongst boys out there. And I think that you're seeing it in areas, in small increments. And I think as he does it more consistently, that's when he's going to maybe see an opportunity to go back up. But I do like his compete level, his assertiveness. I like how vocal he's been on the bench. He's upping his leadership, I guess, in that regard. And he's playing a big role right now for our team.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next up, Elaine Shercliffe from Full Press Hockey.
Hi, I noticed this season that you guys have been offensively aggressive in the third period. I think you've scored like 6 of your 11 goals of the season in that period. What is behind them just lighting it up during that final stanza of play?
Well, if those numbers are right, which I'll take you at your word. That concerns me a little bit more about our first and second periods, to be honest with you. So, we have game goals that we chart as a staff, as a group. And one of our game goals is to win the first period. And I don't think that we've done that yet this year. So, and if you look at the numbers historically in the NHL and the AHL, teams win-loss records, if you win the first 2 periods, are pretty ridiculously high. I think it's 75-80% chance of winning if you're ahead after 2 periods. And 70 or 75 if you're winning the first period or ahead after the first period. So we've got to find a way to get off to better starts. I've liked our starts. We just haven't been opportunistic enough and capitalized on chances enough. But third periods, I think sometimes you're seeing that, especially in the first 4 games. I think a lot of that can be attributed to being on the road. When you drive 4 or 5 hours, sometimes it takes a little bit to get going. And maybe sometimes in the third period, it just that's maybe a reality of that.
Yeah. And then can you speak to the importance of having emotional control in high intensity games? It seems like you've played a lot of those this season already.
Well, again, we played the same teams, and we're going to be playing the same teams more often than in years prior. But I think with anything, you've got to be able to control your emotions. You can't be too high with the highs. You can't get too low with the lows, and you can't get frustrated on things that you can't control. So I think that comes with maturity of a group and experiences that you go through. And I think some of our players that have a little bit more experiences in that regard can help to teach our younger players. I think our younger players that do have those type of emotions, I think it's a good thing to play with passion. You just have to learn to channel them in the right direction.
Thank you.
Patrick Williams, elite prospects.
Hey, Coach, what are you seeing from Pat Nagle, a guy who's over 30 in this league and has battled for a long time to finally kind of get this number 1 shot that he's getting?
Well, I think that Patty's done a great job. You talk about perseverance and dedication and just belief in yourself. I think that he's done a tremendous job of having that self-belief and the identity in him that he's not going to be denied. He works hard. He comes in. He's a pro. He's been around this game for a long time. He's paid his dues. I think last year he finally got some traction in the American League and played 20 or so games. And then from an emotional kind of standpoint, we brought in a couple other goalies, and then they instituted the taxi squad. So he probably went from thinking I got some traction in the American League and I got a chance to play there to then they brought in Grice, they brought in Boyle, and then we had Picard. So he thought, okay, maybe I'll be the guy in Toledo. Who knows? And then all of a sudden they have the taxi squad, and now he's back to potentially competing and vying for the number 1 spot here in Grand Rapids. So I think that he's got a great resolve in work ethic with regard to his daily approach to the game. And him and Boyles really challenge each other and push each other in practice. So it's been great. So to have those two with healthy competition has been great.
And then when you have a team with a lot of young kind of high-end prospects, what can they learn when they hear about and they see his career path that he's gone through and still grinding at this age?
Well, I think that's it. You got to love the grind. I think you hit it right in the head there. Like they're highs in your career, they're lows in your careers. And if you can just grind through the tough times and have that self-belief that you're not going to be denied, you're not going to let someone tell you that you're not big enough, strong enough, good enough. And when you do get an opportunity, you make the most of it. So I think that's what you kind of see with that. And I think it's fantastic when those stories kind of come to fruition.